Hi, I'm Vinny, and this is Vinny's view. I just saw The Hangover, and I'm still laughing from the movie. It was unbelievable. Let me get inside the van and tell you about it, okay? Thanks. Okay, so I'm back in the van. I just had to catch my my laughter as I was coming out of the theater because I was laughing. The whole audience was laughing as we were leaving the theater, and people just couldn't stop laughing. It was really... so again, I saw The Hangover, and it was really one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. It really was an original comedy. It's an R-rated comedy, so you know I think R-rated comedies are always a little bit better because they can go a little crazier, and this one went absolutely crazy. I mean, it's just you know, it's very, very rare you get to see a really smart, adult, crazy, you know, wild comedy. I mean, and this was really a unique comedy, a unique idea. The idea is it's a bachelor party. 4 guys going to Vegas. 3 of them really good buddies. One of them is one of the guys is the bride's brother. So he's kind of this oddball. And so the 4 of them head off to Vegas, and it kind of starts after the bad night, you know, and they're in deep trouble. Then it kind of flashes back to, you know, them getting ready and, you know, setting up their lives a little bit, showing who they are, what they're all about. One guy is, you know, he has this horrible girlfriend that he's just like this wimpy kind of dentist, and the other guys are you know, just wild, fun guys, and they're going off to Vegas. They're gonna have a blast, and then you know, you see them on the roof toasting, and you cut, and then they're in this hotel suite the next morning, and there's a chicken there, there's a baby there, there's a tiger in the bathroom, someone's missing, the groom is actually missing. It's just it sets you off for a joyride that it just never stops. And the whole premise of the story is they're just going to go, they have to kind of backtrack and find out how they got into this predicament, where the guy went, the groom, where the chicken came from, where the tiger came from, the baby. They go to get their car, they don't get their car, they get another car. I mean, the more they try to find out what happened, you know, the night before, the more they find out that it's just one crazy thing after the next. It's just nonstop funny movie. The cast is great. They're basically kind of unknowns. I mean, maybe the one that you would know the most is Bradley Cooper. He was in The Wedding Crashers. He's very good. He plays a teacher in this, and you know, he plays this kind of a would-be playboy. You know, kind of wants to get out of his marriage a bit, but you know, and he's going to Vegas and having a blast. And he's probably the one you might recognize the most. But the cast is just brilliantly put together, and they're funny as hell. And then they encounter all these different casts of characters along the way, and it's just a funny movie. There's, you know, it's sight gags and disgusting humor, and you know, it's just really well written and really funny. You know, a lot of times these comedies are you know, some of them have like a one gag or 2 gags at the beginning, and then they kind of fall off. This movie was funny from the beginning to the end. So, you know, adult comedy for sure. There's a lot of gross out stuff. There's a lot of, you know, sexual innuendo. There's a lot of things like that. But it's an R-rated movie, so you can get away with it. So, funny stuff. Oh my God. Some of the other guys, this guy Ed Helms, he plays Stu. And he's you probably know him mostly from The Office. He was in The Office, and he's in The Office. He plays the guy from Cornell, and he's very funny. He plays the uptight sort of dentist who's, you know, he has this girlfriend who's just horrible to him, and he just, you know, he's just going along, wants to marry her for some reason. He's just, you know, he's kind of a pansy, and but he's funny as hell in this movie, and you've probably seen him in the promos. He's the one that loses the tooth, and he's just really funny in this movie. You got a guy named Zach Galifianakis, and evidently I think he's a stand-up comic. I've never really seen him before. He plays the bride's brother, who's kind of along for the ride, and he's a little wacky and is a little, you know, off kilter, and he's hysterical. He plays like the heavy set guy that's you know, the butt of a lot of jokes, and you know, you'll find out in the movie that he gets them into a lot of predicaments. But he is just funny. I don't want to give away a lot of the humor because I hate to give away some of the things that happen in the movie, but just trust me, there's some funny stuff going on here, and this guy Zach is really, really great, and I think you'll see him in a lot of movies coming up. Justin Bartha plays Doug, the groom. You know him from two of the National Treasure movies. He was the sidekick in both those movies. He's very funny. He's not in it as much because he goes missing in this movie, and but he does a nice job. And you know, he's really the one they're kind of hunting for, because they kind of lose him. They lose him. They have a chicken in the room. They have a tiger in the room. They have a couch that's on fire. They have others, but they can't find him. He is the guy they're looking for, but he does a nice job. But it's very funny stuff. There's some funny character actors in this movie as well. Jeffrey Tambor, who you would know from the Larry Sanders Show, Hey Now, from Larry Sanders. He was also in Hellboy. He's very funny as the bride's father. He does some nice things in it. Heather Graham is in this movie. Heather Graham is, first of all, she's gorgeous. I mean, she is unbelievably beautiful, and she's been around for a long, long time. She was in Boogie Nights. She played Roller Girl in Boogie Nights. If you've ever seen Boogie Nights, you can't forget that. She plays a hooker in this movie, well, an escort, as she said, and a stripper, but with a heart of gold, of course. And she's very, very funny in this movie, and it's nice to see her in film again. You know, Mike Tyson is also in this movie, and there's a funny bit with him in there as well, and we find out that he's somehow connected to the tiger, and there's a nice piece with him in it, so he actually does a great job at it, and some really funny scenes with him in it as well. The beauty of this movie is how things unfold as they keep searching and trying to find their friend, and you just find one thing after the next, and one more surprising act of horrible depravity that they did along the way. You know, the things that they did while they were just totally trashed in Vegas, and you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, I hope so, because they did a lot of crazy stuff in this movie. But it's just, you know, one thing after the next that they find out, it just keeps adding on itself and adding on itself, and it was really brilliantly created. There was really a smart idea to this. It's a simple idea, but it's a smart idea and funny, and they just keep surprising you. And you know, there's some redeeming qualities at the end. There's some redeeming things that happen to some of the characters towards the end. And I'm going to go back to the end now. The ending of this movie, you know, it could have been real sappy and sweet, but they ended with maybe one of the funniest sequences I've ever seen in a movie at the end. And I'm not going to give it away, but you really tell me about what you guys think about the end, because the ending was hysterical. You think it's over, you think it's, you know, nice happy ending, but the ending is a killer. So stay tuned for the end, okay? Okay, so what do I think about this movie? Duh! This is a really funny movie. You have to see it. I'm going to say this is a must-see adult comedy. Don't bring the kiddies to this movie. It's pretty rough, but it's funny as hell. Must-see adult comedy. So far, funniest movie of the year, without question. And I'm going to totally recommend this movie. So I'm Vinny, and that was Vinny's View. And check me out. Movies are coming fast and furious, so I'll see you soon, okay? Thanks.